Booster Course Wave 5 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is here, and we're checking out all changes and differences made for the returning courses. The final race of the Cherry Cup is Tour Vancouver Velocity. Serving as Canada's most populated British Columbian city, the location offers sights of the Lionsgate Bridge over Vancouver Harbour in the distance, the Capilano Suspension Bridge amidst the conifers, Stanley Park with its deciduous trees, the interiors of Rogers Arena and the Vancouver Public Library, and Coal Harbour, home to the Olympic cauldron in Jack Poole Plaza. So how does the most recent update differ from its mobile appearance? Let's find out. Vancouver Velocity debuted as part of the Vancouver Tour in 2020, with the second and third variants released in the 2021 Penguin Tour and 2022 Autumn Tour respectively. For the Switch version, these paths are traversed in full as separate laps, with the second variant explored in reverse, granting ground access for its now optional gliding part. Even a short, unused route is incorporated in the race, but many other differences can be observed as well. Starting with the gameplay changes, the route begins at Coal Harbour and follows the first variant of Vancouver Velocity in Tour. At the Capilano Suspension Bridge, swoops fly at different elevations now rather than in a straight line close to the planks. An anti-gravity panel is placed at the start of the twisting portion, with a couple of spin boost pillars along it. After gliding across the harbour, a shortcut is seen at Canada Place with grass added. This final bend turns back towards the Vancouver Convention Centre to conclude the lap. Lap 2 switches to Vancouver Velocity 2R, only noticeable when in Jack Poole Plaza, under the 2010 Winter Olympics cauldron. Just beyond the dock, the ramp leading to Stanley Park lost its dash panel. But what's a bigger deal is that the circus cannon beyond Lost Lagoon and all elements surrounding it were replaced by an optional glide ramp. This allows for racing on land rather than being forced to soar straight into Rogers Arena. To accommodate for this change, several elements were affected. Trees and curbs by the glide ramp were adjusted, the central planter was removed, and crowd control fences and arrow fields were added all along the path. Furthermore, a ramp with a dash panel was placed to hop over the grassy island of the roundabout, with the 3 trees cleared out and another ramp added just afterward. The curb just left of the back entrance to Rogers Arena was lowered too. Drivers enter the sports arena through the main entrance rather than from above, just like Vancouver Velocity 3. Also like the third variant are the elements on the rink, as indicated by the podium in the center. Having switched partners, 4 skating Shy Guys, instead of 3, circle the stage at a wider orbit, with items trailing the pairs. One more is in the back freestyling it. They all now leap into the air occasionally. A previously unused staircase to the left was opened up, guiding racers down a new path before converging back to the shared route of 2R and 3. The Gastown neighborhood shortcut by Harbour Center now has grass and adjusted curbs. And so ends the lap. For the final lap, the route reflects that of Vancouver Velocity 3 for the remainder of the race. It first leads into the Massey Tunnel straight ahead. Inside the passageway, the raised area was turned into off-road terrain, denoted by the darkened bumps. It can be accessed even without an item now, but it will slow drivers down without one. Past the Vancouver Public Library shops, we enter Rogers Arena again. This time, the left exit is sealed off, opening the central exit instead with the statue of Roger Neilson outside. The route continues to the left until it joins the path from the first visit to Gastown, which returns to Coal Harbour for the end of the race. Not bad, eh? There are quite a few more aesthetic changes to cover. Other than the general lighting, texture, mild coloration, and spectator differences, the minimap has been rotated 90 degrees counterclockwise. It now shows the previously inaccessible paths in Stanley Park and Gastown. The Aurora Borealis is more spread out, being in other parts of the sky. Possibly an effect of the camera lens, the mountains seem a bit shorter, and snow more clearly caps them all. Likewise, the moon is smaller too. In the city, flowers were added to tall potted bushes, and their bases, as well as those of long bush planters, and even tree edging, are red rather than white. Park benches have silver frames rather than green, and several signs around the course are well lit now. And roads everywhere have become wet from rain that is common in Vancouver. At the starting line, the white logo of the gate-like banner, themed after the Gastown steam clock, became a shiny red with white outline, and the starting grid switched from gray to white. Fallen maple leaves to the sides of the paved roads are more plentiful. Street lamps have a more conical spotlight effect to them as well. We now can see the filaments of the bulbs of the Fairmont Hotel, and some greenish elements for the building have become more gold with green highlights. Crowd control fences were put in front of the driveway of the Vancouver Convention Centre parking garage to prevent confusion, since it was never a viable path. These barriers now have red and white bars, like the Canadian flag. The waterfront station entrance windows became transparent, with the text switching from white to golden, or just silver reflecting environmental gold. More trees line the border of the Capilano Suspension Bridge park, albeit flat. The wooden ramps just before this area have an updated style, and the other leaning to a dirt path was changed to this type. All bulbs decorating Loggers Grill were exchanged for those with filaments, and snow now falls around the bridge for the entire anti-gravity section. The order of lit windows on general buildings was altered a bit, and aircraft warning lights were placed atop these structures. Some lights on the cruise ship are off now too. The poles for the sails on the Canada Place roof glow in the 3 primary colors of light. Leaves cover the now darkened ground below and by Granville Square. Traffic cones were placed at the corner shortcut with the overhang's light beams matching those of street lamps. And lights at the entrance to Canada Place were swapped out for that filament type. Best observed on the second lap, crowd control fences were positioned left of the cauldron to show that the area beyond just isn't reachable. Special chevron arrows at the dock ahead became a single red arrow sign. More of these can be found beyond this point. Look carefully though, since one is hiding. A motorboat was here, but it left. Like the asphalt roads before, the Stanley Park Trail has many more leaves, but they stopped falling from the sky. That's too bad. The lower windows of BC Place now glow a calming blue. However, the tricolor sign no longer is illuminated. Fireworks don't burst in the air by Rogers Arena anymore either. With the roof closed up, an M Arena sign was added above. Inside, the Ice Brothers Arena logo was wiped off the center of the ice rink. The arrow barriers are just regular crowd control fences now, and an arrow field was placed on the left side, not blocking a path, to point the way forward. Outside again, the amber ornament at the Harbor Center became light blue, while the overhang features just 1 row of lights rather than 2. And a safety cone was added for the shortcut here also. On the other side of the street, the Gastown steam clock now consistently displays 8:04 instead of having a different time for each face. Steam alternates in pouring out from the corner pipes in addition to the middle one. Along the final lap, the Massey Tunnel curb was given stripes. Tinted panes were installed between overhead horizontal bars in the Vancouver Public Library, matching the now translucent walls on the right side. Seen better when approaching from this angle, the tree edging in front of Rogers Arena was removed, and the bike orientation changed. The indoor arrow field on the left disappears on the second visit, replaced by another behind the barriers, pointing the opposite direction. And the waterfront station building was given a distinct brick texture. Stunning. For auditory changes, the crowd in Rogers Arena would cheer and clap in time with the music, but now it's just generic cheering, and the cauldron's flames roar and crackle. But most importantly, the steam pipes of the starting line gate toot a melody in the opening. It's just like the Gastown steam clock. The music for Vancouver Velocity is effectively house, dance music evolved from disco. It's filled with synths, risers and fallers, MIDI grand piano, and of course pitch-bent strings popular in the 1970s. The original intro starts calmly, with synth counterpart that echoes only in this version. Strings serve as the melody in the A section, with woodblock introduced a few measures into it. The synth lead in the B section has an exclusive fade-out with heavy modulation, altered sound effect. And the drum fill to the bridge-like D section has a lo-fi filter, once again just for this recording. It's pretty lit. The arrangement is faithful to the source. Triangle in the intro replaces the electric shakers, and the A-section strings were tweaked a bit. The first counterpoint run has a different second note, reappearing as a new third run. an electronic wind instrument. Iwi plays the lead for the B section, with the percussion ramping up from the accented hi-hat. Background strings here highlight more expressive notes than before. The drum fills transitioning to the C and D sections are more impactful. This last part has high-pitched synth arpeggios replacing the softer counterpoint. And the final drum fill concludes the piece with a new rolling snare. Now that's straight fire. By the way, if you enjoy game music analyses like these, check out Melodies of Gaming. A link to the playlist can be found in the description. And that's about it for all changes we found in Tour Vancouver Velocity. It offers some of the best experiences with its diverse locales, well-placed ramps, additional gliding, streamlined anti-gravity, and both path options and a bit of new content, with little or no loss. But what do you think? Have you found any notable changes that we missed? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for coverage on Booster Course Wave 6 for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and other things Nintendo too. Thanks for watching. Until next time, ciao!